myself at 6 years old.
I'm asking you, how does Santa work in the Santa Claus universe? Tell me right now.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you. So if you catch Santa and
It's May.
cause him to
I've been thinking that Christmas time. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? What's up, guys? It's time for the LooneyBin Podcast. It's episode 31. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Nate.
I'm Colt.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Eric.
And Patrick was late.
Patrick was late. We had to go get him out of his van.
His van, it was crumpled into a tin can. It was barely recognizable.
But I was just fine.
But he was just fine.
It was actually crazy. He created like a star sort of form with his body. And the rest of the car was just crumpled into this tiny ball, except for the portions where he held the sides.
It was an incredible feat, really, yeah.
Kept him safe. And
he saved that little boy
yeah.
who was in the front seat with no airbag.
Yep.
Yep. With his leg.
With the airbag. The airbag was the problem.
I stopped it.
Sheer force of will.
Yep.
But the boy he suffered a lot of injuries.
A lot of injuries. He's alive, but he's he couldn't be on the podcast tonight.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I had to come in. I came in swinging, got off of work early, and found out that boy was going to be a no-show, so
we all went to the hospital and
sang our shanties and poured one out.
Yeah, I also have heard that Patrick's pretty good at football.
I'm really good at football.
American or European?
American.
Australian rules?
It's weird how like those two things correlate. Like,
I was so confused.
Well,
I started this.
Saving the child in a car accident, and
I tested in 98th percentile in protective instincts.
He did.
So
98.
It's kind of kind of what happens.
So how do you think that works? Do you think there's questions like an SAT and then there's multiple choice and then
like
one
what do
answer
you?
is more protective than the others?
If there was something in front of you that was in danger,
So it's a physical test. That's how they gauged it.
I would assume it's a combination of both. Can you elaborate?
Well, in my experience, I had just been adopted by a white family. And
It shows.
It shows.
Yeah, for sure. And they brought me to their private school, and I didn't have any records. I hadn't really been to a lot of education, so they didn't really know very much about me. So they were kind of giving me all of these tests and questions and things. And then I got to the end, and I walk out into the hall, and there are these, just like a collection of babies, dogs, and vulnerable adults being beaten. I said, hey, stop that, all of you,
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Turns out that was set up.
It was part of the test.
It was part of the test.
Wow. That's pretty
And
good. I would not have known.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done.
98th
And
percentile.
2 out of 100 people would have protected better than you did.
Yeah.
That's,
And I killed those 2 people.
yeah, true. What does it take to get
Higher than me and protective instincts?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's
Probably like a few decades in a monastery, really in heavy thought and like concentration on protection.
Would you say that's your biggest regret?
Well, I'm only 22. I'm just not there yet. The journey's long.
True, yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
Job's not finished.
All right, can I stop talking?
You're released.
I think we should continue this character arc. I want to see where it goes.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll check back in after the after the first.
That
year
was
in
a
the
Blind
monastery.
Side bit.
Yeah.
That was a bit from the Blind Side,
Yeah.
the movie from 2008.
Yeah.
Possibly 7.
Possibly.
Definitely not 6 though.
Maybe 9, but definitely not 6.
Definitely not
Yeah.
6.
got a comment here from Shell TMD says, "It's my birthday. What can you do for me?"
Birthday.
Well, there's a lot we
boy.
can do for
Cole
Shelton
usually
Andy.
handles the birthday celebration.
I do, yeah, I do usually handle the birthday celebrations. If you want to sign up for our rewards program, then we can talk. It's free. It's an easy form to fill out. You don't even have to put in the right information. It could be a fake address. If
Yep.
you really don't want to see the
And
the
we'll
fruits
send
of your rewards, but
and we'll send you a submarine sandwich
There's
and foot pics.
there's there's 2 questions. You click one or the other, and is like, are you a typical LooneyBin fan? Are you with the vast majority, or are you more of like a sub? Like, do you enjoy us for our humor and entertainment, or is it mainly our bodies that you're focused on? And then based on that answer, then we'll give you.
If
your
it's the
birthday
second
present.
one,
Yeah.
it'll be Cole. If it's the first one, it'll be any of the rest of us.
I make a mean
Or
creme
Henry.
brulee, but we've got other options in the back.
Nate,
Yeah.
do
If
you
that
know?
doesn't do it
Do you
for
know
ya.
what's been done for someone on a birthday? Do you know what that's about?
What's been done for
Do you know a
someone?
man of Will McKenzie?
Oh, no. I mean, I've heard. I know this man, but
He's
Alright.
he's a bit of a hunter, a scoundrel.
Real scoundrel behavior.
Real scoundrel behavior. Yeah, he
Was
he's-
it last? It was last year, right? His last
I
birthday.
thought it was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
he scored probably 11th percentile protective instinct.
Yeah, but he
Damn.
scored in the 100th percentile of
Okay,
bag securage.
Nate. We'll just get your reaction, whatever. And,
Okay.
And just pretend you're in this environment. You're with
Yeah,
Will.
close your eyes.
Well, then your eyes will come open at some point
okay.
once it's time.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could be a barista. You could be a
No, you're
an
here with
employee
him
of
as a friend.
restaurant.
No,
Oh,
you're
here's
here as
You're
Will's
standing
friend.
behind him,
Yep.
right behind him.
You're ordering your food. Maybe a couple of other people have already ordered before you, but now it's Will's turn. And then he's putting through his order, and then after he's done, he says, "Also, it's my birthday. What can you do for me?" Out of the blue. They're not running a special. It's just
No.
it's a quick service sort of restaurant. It's not a sit down. It's not an Applebee's. There's no notion that a
Could be a
ice cream
Caribou
dessert's gonna
coffee.
come out or
Yep.
something.
Yep. All right. Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. So you're in line. You heard that line, and you're watching the worker try to react to that.
This is the face I would make.
Eyebrows raised, eyes open. How many steps back
And
are you
then
taking?
I'd probably go like this.
My arc.
phone's not
My
in my
arc
pocket.
was. My
And
arc was.
I'd go like this.
check your email.
Yeah.
Do you act like you still know Will at this point, or do you think you
I
salvage?
might turn around.
You might make a trip to the bathroom or
Yeah. I
go
feel like.
fiddle with some things.
I feel like my arc started at just complete terror, and slowly made its way to like, okay, this is fine, and then like, wow, what a cool guy.
Yeah. What do you think happened
What a
after that?
fucking-
What do you think was the next thing that happened? It's like a freeze frame or whatever. You got the first half of the situation, then you got
Yeah.
an A, B, C, D list. I'm not
Okay.
spontaneous enough to give you all the
so-
other options, so just free form, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. So next thing I'm guessing. So I'm gonna fill in her reaction.
It was a man.
It was the owner of the
Is-
place.
I don't know if that's
I do know that.
true. What?
I wouldn't have said that if it wasn't true.
How'd you know that?
How'd you know that?
Because I was there. We were all.
I wasn't there.
And you knew that guy taking the order was the owner?
Yeah, he was talking about it.
Oh, I don't
Oh.
remember that.
Okay.
Okay. That helps me. That informs my answer. Okay. So if I was the owner, it'd be less confusion. It would be less like sort of like if it was just a worker, they'd be like, oh
This is the first time this has happened to me.
Because he's the owner, he gets to make
you know
the rules.
what? I'm gonna go talk to my manager. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Yeah. So I'm not doing that because I'm the owner. So if I was the owner, I'd probably go, wow, that's great.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And it ends there.
I think he got a free drink.
Wow!
He got a free
He
beverage.
said,
I shouldn't own a
have
restaurant.
this.
Yep.
That's
It makes
crazy.
sense in the context because he does make the rules. He just sure have a drink. For
I
your
suppose.
for a reward for your boldness.
You know,
Will,
and
did
rightly
Will know
so.
that? Was that his point of attack?
No, I
This
don't
is
think-
the owner, and
I doubt
I could
it.
take you down if you don't
He
handle
was
this in
shooting
a
from the hip. He
overly
was going
courteous
to
way.
ask it either
He was
way.
gonna. That was what he was. It's because he was hot. He was on a hot streak.
True.
He had just been to multiple places who do have birthday deals,
He had
and
gone to nothing bunt cakes and got a
Yes.
free bunt cake.
so he had received those, and he was high on birthday energy.
was.
Right.
Because I think he also went to Starbucks or Caribou and got his
Yeah.
birthday drink.
He did.
Birthday privilege.
He was on. He was making his rounds. He was very successful. It is one of the things I admire about Will is that his success rate in the clutch is very strong.
And it was just recently Will's birthday. Nate, what would you do for him?
Wow. It's the owner of this company. No, I'm just kidding. Guess give him a free video. You know?
Video? Anything he
video.
wants?
Yeah, free video.
Tell me what
whatever
you want
Wow.
filmed and I'll film
whatever
it.
you want filmed.
Matt,
Courtesy
Will,
of
if you're
the
in the
Looney
comments,
Bin.
think
We'll
about
be
it.
there with
Get
a
back to
camera.
Nate what you want.
We'll be there with the
We can get his
camera.
reaction, see if he's going to own up
Cole
to
will
it.
edit it for you. We'll do the full works.
Yep.
Cole
Can't
at-
promise much.
Cole will edit. I'll color it for you. We'll do a full color pass. We'll make some nice lower thirds for you. Custom lower thirds.
What's a lower third?
It's like where the name pops up
so
in
much
like
to
an
learn.
interview.
Oh, yeah.
On the lower
Nice,
third.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So custom lower thirds. It's going to be a custom typeface made by Patrick, and then other design elements made by Eric. Maybe some B-roll.
Yeah, whatever I'm good at.
Yeah. All the ad-
Well, the B-roll.
I'm sure
I don't know what you, I don't know
really
what
funny.
you make with graphic design.
Have some more
Like
wine.
a border. Do you make a border
little logos and things.
or like a flower at the next to the lower third, or like
I'm great at flowers.
yeah, maybe like an underline sort of like
Great at underlining too.
yeah.
You
We'll
can do
figure
some
it out.
animated text effects for my typeface, okay?
Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah. I mean, contact us. We'll put you through to our people, and we'll get that figured out.
Yeah, it might be ready for your next birthday.
True. That video will be done next year.
Well, yeah, there'll be a year of pre-production.
Exactly. Yeah. Got a plan. Hey, these things take
Yeah.
time. You know. Yeah.
So as we've done before, Nate, I remember you were talking about before. You said you want to talk about Rocket League just a little bit.
You
Maybe
know,
it's-
I said it just on a whim, because we were having words before the podcast and talking a little bit about Rocket League, and I thought like maybe we could expand it to gaming in general, or
Right.
if we wanted to go specific into Rocket League, or
Yeah, I think we can talk
whichever is
about...
best for us.
We have Cole here. We weren't originally going to have Cole here. And Cole's relationship with Rocket League
It's very different than that
brings
child.
something
that,
even
was
different.
originally gonna be
even
on.
different.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a beautiful story between these two. Talking
That's what I was
about
gonna,
Rocket League.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that there's something.
Rocket League holds a special place in my heart, my heart of hearts.
It tears you down to your core, and
It did. It literally tore me down to
rebuilds
my
you.
core,
The
and
both
it
of us.
forced me to really just change or die. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the greatest test our relationship has ever experienced.
Absolutely.
I'll be a moderator here. Either
But we
one of you two
came-
chime in. Say something that you would say to
Yeah,
each other
I'm
in the
kinda
early
lost.
days of. So we would play 2v2 drop shot game mode in Rocket League.
Custom games.
Yep.
And it was always the same.
Me and this same Will character would be on a
Yeah.
team. It was just kind of random what these teams were going to be. So
Yeah,
It was
you-
not.
you
It
picked-
became unrandom.
You
It
picked the
became
two
what it
best
is.
Rocket League players
Whatever
and
that
put them
means.
against the two worst. But
So
boy,
they
did
claim.
we grow.
And so it's me and
By
Will
the end
versus
of it,
these
that
two.
was not the case.
They're already getting back into it. No, and me and Will, to put it simply, we seem to have been way better, and we would destroy. And
Time and time
usually,
again.
usually,
Again.
you know, maybe it'd start out rough, but then things we'd really once there was a rock in the what's the saying? You know, there's
Once you lost one spoke in the wheel, it came crumbling down so fast.
So as I was getting
So
to
fast.
before, after giving this context, share some words that you would used to maybe share with each other. Me and Will just destroyed you 2 games in a row.
Usually there's some like little minor chirping coming in from Will and
right.
Eric, just like little maybe things.
Cole
egging us on.
Cole just completely whiffed. He tried to go way for an aerial that he had no chance at for, and then a big damn happened on the other side.
Big damn corner
just
baby.
kind of a very.
I'm realizing I'm trying to
gotta be-
spark hatred.
Yeah.
between
Right,
us.
right.
sucks.
No, I can
This
see
sucks.
this is
No,
difficult for you.
it's-
I can't even do it anymore.
I would get
I
very
can't do it anymore.
frustrated. I would say things like, Cole, just stay away from me and the ball.
Yep.
Like, just.
Yep.
You're looking at a game.
uh,
Patrick had 1,000 points. Cole had 125.
Yeah,
rough.
but you're not. The
rough,
thing about
and I
the
was in
points
a
is they
bad
don't,
way.
they don't carry the important bumps, the tactical other plays that don't show up on the stat sheet. And then this is one of the things that we would get into it over.
Yeah, but
is that
I was
Patrick would just shit all
skeptical.
over me, and I would say, "But what about this and that?" And he'd say, "No, you suck."
Oh, we didn't
Fuck
win,
this
did
and
we?
that.
We didn't win, did we?
And then
Yeah.
I think the turning point, as an outsider,
Oh,
that was
well, I
involved.
started therapy.
Okay,
And I
think
got better at Rocket League.
Patrick did
Specifically
therapy,
because of
and
this.
Cole
Not specifically
actually got
because of
decent at
that.
Rocket League
Yeah.
slash good at Rocket League.
I learned how to play Rocket
I think we
League.
both improved.
I improved
think.
more though.
Yeah, we started from a lower place, perhaps.
That's debatable.
wow.
It might be statistical as well.
I'm telling you. Yeah, so I don't know. I really I had to learn, I had to learn to lead and to communicate and to hit the ball with my car. That was that was probably the biggest
That's
thing, was
probably the
making
hardest
contact.
thing to do in Rocket League.
Yeah, big spatial awareness increase, but we came back and honestly, I think over the last few times we've booted that
No,
up,
as soon as we started winning, and we were winning handily,
we were winning a lot.
all of a sudden,
No, we never
Eric and
played
Will
it again.
didn't want to play
didn't
anymore.
wanna
It
play
was the
anymore.
weirdest
I don't know if
thing.
we've
They
even
never
played
played
in-
with us.
we haven't played
Once
in
it was-
over a year.
It was competitive for a little bit, and that was fun. And then we started dominating, and then
Yeah.
Will and Eric just
But
it
the
wasn't,
funny-
it wasn't one of
Yeah.
their hobbies
The
anymore.
funny
Our
thing about that
transformation would
is-
be me and Will going, look at them, they're turning on each other. I don't know, we're just loving it.
The real
And
thing
then-
that hurt them was when
when you stop turning on each other.
stopped turning on each other, and like even when I think what hurt them the most
was that we
was
were
when
nice to
was
each other.
even when we lost, we were nice to each other, and Eric and Will couldn't handle that.
They lost their greatest weapon.
Exactly.
We didn't turn. Me and Will didn't turn on each other. We just kind of played silently. That was how we reacted
That's-
to becoming losers.
It was one of the greatest parts of our character arc, easily like top 3
Yeah,
over
and
the
we're-
last
and-
few years.
We're much closer
Yeah.
now.
It needed to happen.
And it did need to happen
But man, those were some
because
funny days.
I didn't treat you right. I didn't treat
Yeah.
you right.
Yeah, I know.
Preston's got something to chime in with.
This has nothing to do with what you guys are talking about. So this dude across the street has been pacing back and forth for the last 10 minutes, and the camera's kind of catching it, but he's locked out of his
pressing
house.
with the stick
Yes, he's
and
locked out of his house right now, and I can see him. He's been
That's
calling,
awesome.
and he's been. I think we should maybe invite him.
It's
up,
gonna start.
That's a University of
grant him
Minnesota
cover or
athlete.
something.
It's gonna start storming soon.
Yeah.
He's got the backpack tags and everything.
That would be insane if he actually came in here.
We get him on the
Should
podcast.
we
Oh
grant
my
him cover?
god, that's awesome.
Here, I'll go do some digging.
You're gonna
make
go
sure
out
he
to him?
knows
Yeah, I'm
that
gonna go out to him.
we're live broadcasting
Him
a
pacing
podcast.
back and forth.
Maybe wait
Maybe
to
he
see
wants
if
to be on.
paces back
Well, that's
to
what
our
I'm
house.
Just make sure that he knows what he's walking into.
Okay.
That this isn't just a house. This is a production
he's really-
studio right
He
now.
is really
Yeah.
toiling out there.
Just for his own
All right,
sake.
you
Ah,
do whatever
jeez.
you want to do. See how it goes. See if that guy's got the right vibe. We'll see what happens.
Or just tell him to tune into the stream and
Yeah, he seems
Sit
like he
under a
has a
tree.
lot of phone calls to make.
Yeah.
No, it's just a funny Easter egg. That's all I
It is a funny
Anyway,
Easter egg,
it
and
is
I
a
hope
funny
he's
Easter egg.
okay, and we'll keep.
once it starts raining,
We'll get
then
some
maybe we
updates.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just said it because he looked in here a little curious.
Oh,
Yeah.
he did.
Ah.
Saw this baseball light up here. Yeah.
Alright, so we might have a special guest.
We might.
It's a
That'd be
development.
nice. I would like to issue an open challenge.
Skip ahead in the video
for,
to see if
for
we
Will
get
and
this
Eric,
guy.
just because it's
Yeah,
been so
that's true.
long.
It's been
So
a
this
long
is-
time.
Okay. I want this to be a very. I want I want this to be heard, that this is a very public.
Yeah, this is a public. We're calling you out.
This is like
Yeah,
the end of
literally.
a boxing match. Where
No,
they're
it's it like you. I know it must have been very embarrassing to fall from such a high pedestal, but
Cole and I are much better communicating with each other and treating each other better in our respective areas of expertise. I would say
yeah,
both of us.
I think we both learned a lot about that. Humility and
Right, because there were other things that I wasn't very good at.
there weren't very
And I-
many for me, but
Exactly. And I had Rocket League, and I think that I think I let a lot of my frustration at you out
I know.
in our Rocket League
I know you did.
playing.
You can only win so many games of spike ball and other various things before the one thing he's got over your head goes to his head. But we've
Well,
come a long way since
Yeah,
then.
and we always seem to be teammates.
That
Turns out that's not what you
Yeah, no. So during this time period, Patrick and I would also get paired up for spike ball a lot. It'd be like Eric and Matt against
It
Patrick
made
and
sense teams-wise.
I. It did make sense teams wise, although it
because you
did
couldn't
not
put
at
Cole
all.
and Matt together.
Although- Well, yeah.
You definitely couldn't do that. I don't think we've ever lost a game.
No, probably not.
All right, maybe we lost
All right.
one game.
No,
No, wait,
actually,
did
no.
we
I'm
win
pretty-
one?
We did because we clung to that for a long time.
That's true. I think I do remember that. Sound
Yeah.
off in the chat, Matt.
Or that.
if
I
you,
remember me and Patrick beat you and Matt at
something
Pong.
else. Yeah,
we did.
'cause
We
you had-
definitely
that
did that because
did
you
ran
were
the table.
you were definitely undefeated.
We definitely were undefeated at the time of that as well. Yeah.
And this was during something. This was in our big keeps era, which
This
is something
was
else
during
I
the
want to
Keeps
share
era.
with you, Nate. Was a thing that we had going.
We could bring keeps back.
Yeah, we should do keeps here at this house. So it started, I think, maybe as tennis or something. And
I think it was.
Yeah, it was at tennis. We were playing, like, I think, Patrick was the best of us, and he was maybe 1v2ing me and someone else. I can't remember the exact scenario, but I think Patrick had beat us a bunch of times in a row, and I said, all right, we're playing another one, but this one's for keeps. And that, whatever that
which
means.
didn't mean a thing
didn't
at the
mean
time.
anything.
Okay.
It's for all the marbles. This one's
Yeah.
for keeps.
Exactly.
This
Like,
one's for
Okay,
all
keeps.
the other
so-
times Patrick beat us doesn't matter
Didn't
because we got the
count.
one that
This
was
is
for
it. All
keeps.
comes down to this.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
then so we did that. We probably still lost. I can't remember. Maybe Patrick remembers.
I don't remember.
Okay. They all the wins blur together for him.
I don't. That's not. I feel like we're pretty competitive at tennis. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that
Yeah, I'm talking
I'm
him
not.
up.
Anyways.
But anyway, no, that kind of kicked off this system called for keeps, and it'd be like, we're doing any sort of semi-competitive. Sometimes it even translated into not very competitive things at all. But
Yeah.
it was like, you're playing rounds, but always the last one. This one's
Yeah.
for keeps, and it
The
was-
last hole of
it-
your disc golf
yeah,
game, the
it
last game of
elevated
spike
the
ball.
stakes, and then we started keeping track of who was
Who was-
keeping
who
somebody.
was kept.
So after
How many keeps you have
Yeah.
on such and such people?
Wow.
keeps
Yeah.
are declared, and there was a point.
There's always somebody at the top of the pyramid, though.
Yep. So say you've won multiple things against somebody. Also, it counts as a team. Like say me and Cole
Yeah.
were together and we beat two other people. We're both keeping
Sure.
the two of them.
Sure. Yep.
In that instance, but
So it's a lot to keep track of with all
so-
the different things.
but
you
You
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
to. You just have to worry about yourself.
We didn't do
say
it-
this is who's
yeah.
keeping me, and this is who I'm keeping.
yeah.
Okay.
And but if you say I've kept someone 3 times in a row, but then they win something that's been keep declared, then it's reset, and now they're keeping me 1 time. So it doesn't
Yeah.
like decrease. It just you get reset.
So it's a
Yeah.
streak. It's a
It's a
streak,
streak.
system.
Yeah.
So at
And-
some point,
Yeah.
we decided this was also big in the Jokers era. We were watching a lot of Jokers on the TV.
Great
That
show.
makes sense. That actually
Impractical
really
Jokers.
tracks.
That
If
is.
Love
yeah,
that show.
Impractical Jokers. We decided that if you get 10 kept by someone, if you let that streak build all the way up,
Dessa kept.
Dessa kept, there would be. Did we just decide it was going to be some sort of Joker's punishment?
Yeah, that person determines some sort of Joker's punishment.
some
that
sort
person
of
has.
Joker's
something
punishment.
outlandish.
Outlandish for them.
Yeah, something outlandish.
So we found ourselves after a round of frisbee golf at Highland Park, where Matt had been like
9 kept.
9 kept by Eric.
By me.
Yeah.
By Eric.
And he knew
said,
this?
And
He
he
knew
knew
this?
this.
Yeah.
Nine
He had
kept.
accurate count on this.
This was weighing on his
9
shoulders
levels
a lot.
This
deep.
spanned over weeks. It was the Pong
Yeah.
win we talked before, multiple
many,
frisbee
many
golf
times.
wins,
Multiple
all
tennis,
spike ball wins.
multiple
Yep.
tennis things, multiple
Yep.
spike ball. That's the craziest thing. Because
Yep.
Matt's good at spike ball.
I don't think there was a
Oh,
there was disc golf, but yeah.
Go on.
Anyways, We
Clear the
get
record.
we get to the end or whatever. Matt's 9 kept, and he's been thinking about this. Like we'll have an aside or something. And be like, God, I need to find a way to get unkept by Eric.
Well, I
So
think I had just done the 9 keeping in the frisbee golf, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave for Virginia the next day. Like I
No,
can't."
this was 2 summers before. This was
he
when
had
we
to
were
go
at-
somewhere.
Yeah.
And he said, "All right, I don't want to leave and be 9 kept. Like,
maybe
I
he
can't
was
handle
going
that."
to Virginia
So he
then.
was like, or maybe he had a job interview somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe he was going
Milwaukee
to Milwaukee
or something like
and he
that,
was
yeah.
like, "We got spike ball in the trunk. We're pulling it out right now.
And it's me and
Me
Cole.
and Cole are gonna play you. Cole's gonna take his shirt off, become naked Cole, and we're gonna un-9 keep."
Yep. Which is that is a mythological creature, you might say. In the lore.
naked Cole
Yeah.
is a mythological
And-
creature.
And so yeah,
And he's-
like,
and
what
he's
the
un-
fuck
and he's
happened?
unstoppable.
So it was
mopped
me and
the floor
Patrick,
with
and
them.
we lost.
Yeah, we
We
lost.
Then my 9
absolutely
keeping was
destroyed
undone.
them.
We lost.
It was like
It
it
was
almost
bad.
felt
It
a
was-
little silly because it's like all right,
it felt very silly.
It defeated.
it was a
the
plan.
system.
It was a planned keeps on the first round of something, orchestrated with a planned team specifically to unkeep Matt.
I feel like at that point though, that's fine because now you need to take initiative and you need to take yourself out of the situation that
All right,
you
cut
come
Nate's
into.
mic. Cut Nate's mic.
So I don't know. I think like yeah, like life can go on, you know, that's well and good. You can have your fun, laughs, right? This
Yeah.
one's for keeps. You get 9 kept. That is weighing on you
There's
mentally.
more.
That's
there's more
what it
on
is
that
weighing on
line,
you
bro.
mentally.
At that point,
And
you can connive. You can
And if
connive
he
and
I see that he took matters into his own hands.
Yeah.
And,
And it was possible for you to win that.
in what fucking world
It was impossible for them
is
to
that
win
possible?
Hey, that's what, I mean, you stack the cards a little
A
bit.
little,
you
a
know,
lot,
You
yeah.
have the ace up the sleeve, but it's what you got to
Yeah.
do to stay away from
Well,
Joker
the
punishment.
thing is, we really are out of our spike ball era as well. This was heavy in those days as well. But the type of player that I am is I'm mainly a setter.
He's
And
a
I
scrappy
play
setter.
well with someone who's really good at spiking, like Cole or Matt.
Yep. And I'm mainly shit.
Yep. So that was another big part.
'Cause I
of
can't
the
spike
Cole
either.
Patrick beef was when we played Rocket League, he would get tilted at me, and when we played Spike Ball, I would get tilted at him and try and give him little coaching bits most of the time. But I did a pretty bad job of not being condescending. It became a meme of me just like whispering to Patrick to bend his knees.
Yep.
Because he would stand there stiff-legged, and I would say Patrick, and then we would lose terribly.
Me and
But
Patrick had
anyways.
moments though. We had something that we called Michael Jackson mode.
Yeah. No. If you can fucking see, here's the thing with Cole. Cole was giving me sound advice, but he was giving me the same, normal
sound advice that you wouldn't take.
over and over and over. And I knew that I was supposed to bend my knees, obviously. But what really needed to happen was I needed to loosen up.
Yeah.
And who knows how
And
to
I
loosen
didn't
me
help
up
you with
better
that.
than Eric Sagnus? Eric knows how to loosen me up. Make me laugh.
Yeah.
Make me cry.
Right.
Loosen me up.
And Michael Jackson kind of relates to that sort of loosening up. You know,
Yeah.
me and
Do a
Patrick
little
would go on a
dance.
rally, say we score 4 or 5 points in a row. After a point, you'd give out some sort of
Ad lib.
a Michael Jackson ad lib. Hee-hee.
Some kind
Yeah,
of hee-hee, some kind of...
Yeah, and do a leg motion,
Sure.
or
Ow!
yeah,
that
like
kind of thing.
Shimona.
Yeah.
Something with the Shimona rally.
And that fueled us. And it kept us. It was like we had the
Yeah.
fans behind us, but
Wow.
we were generating all the momentum ourselves.
And that really all comes back to mentality, which is what we almost talked about at the very beginning.
Yep. The
Oh
gamer's
yeah, this is
mentality.
all about gaming
this is-
mentality.
Gaming
Spike
mentality.
ball's gaming though.
No, this is all we have.
This is good though because I feel like this podcast has been far too saturated with the Gustavus friend group, like lore and like our lives
Yeah,
and
and I feel
our
like-
feelings towards each other.
Yeah.
I do
And-
feel like ours is better too.
No, it is though. That's the thing.
No, I'm just what?
I don't like. Do we?
That was-
We should
Succumb.
compare. We should definitely
Yeah, let's
compare
get the
friend groups
spreadsheet
and
out.
see
All right,
which friend group is better.
Let's do an 8-person podcast all on this couch. We're
Yeah.
telling Como stories before your guys' arrival, and you're telling Gustavus stories, and see who has better stories.
I think.
It really depends
I
on
think
the
stories-
listener. It's all in the eye of the
yeah.
beholder. I would
Stories-
say.
It's all on
yeah.
you
The
guys out
stories, it's a little bit more. It's less it's more subjective. You know, the
Yeah.
stories are more subjective. I think though that the bits are more objective.
Yeah.
I think like you know, the amount of like individual bits that you have, that can be, I think that could be
That's a
more
factor.
quantified as. Yeah, we don't really.
That's all
have
we
bits.
Oh, we have a lot of bits. Yeah, a lot of different systems, games, bits, running.
Bit jokes.
Yeah, it's not even always a gag or a joke. It's just themes, themes, motifs.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
that we come back to time and time again.
And time again.
And they bring us close and closer and closer.
Yeah. Sometimes
tell
it
me-
hurts, but
Tell
you
me a
always come out on
Gustavus
top.
thing that would make me chuckle.
Yeah, so I'm like now you have me thinking. I'm like, what did we do for 3
Where did the
years?
years go?
Like, what did we do for 4 years just at Gustavus?
There's not a lot to go off of, you know. It's kind of
I don't know. We'll get back to it. We might come back to it.
It's just the one of you. It's not fair.
yeah.
Preston's producing. If he can help out.
Preston's thinking over there.
I got nothing right now.
I mean, we do have a good bit. Probably one of my favorite Gustavus bits is the John Joker dance. So this,
It's just like funny.
yeah,
Like from
it's not
the
very original.
Movie The Joker when he's in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
Yeah, it's not really original. It's more of just like a John interpreted it very accurately.
Right? Yeah.
It's not good because it happened once, and then we just memed on him for it. Is that
Well,
Oh, like he wasn't
No,
doing it
I
like
think-
ironically. He was like, guys,
so the bit-
Joker dance.
The bit was on him.
the
we
bit was.
don't have
I think it
those.
happened. I definitely have referenced it
Benjanese.
more than once.
That's not funny.
No.
Who's laughing?
I was cackling.
I'm pulling for something. I'm pulling for stuff.
Like, yeah, it happened one time, drunk night. Somehow we were like, John, do the Joker dance, and he just did it, and
We
it was
turned on the music.
it was
there was
so
there was
funny.
there was a just one key light, and it was from the lamp in the corner of the room, and he was just going. He let the music move him,
Damn.
and he embodied Joaquin Phoenix in that moment.
He's
and,
literally the Joker.
he's
literally.
widowy. The Joko. Widowy dancing like the Joko.
Right now on the table.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have to get back to you guys on that.
You got homework for next week.
Yeah, I need to do like, this is like a report. This is like a book report on the last on my 4 years of college. Or
Also, yeah, let me
last
just.
3
I had
years.
an idea that I shared with the other guys right before the podcast started, and if anyone in the comments, either on Twitch or on YouTube, had opinions on whether they thought this would be fun, but I was talking about whether in a couple weeks or a month, whatever podcast we want to do it on, where one person gets completely. Okay, now I said it.
That's what you said the first time.
Someone
said
someone gets moderately drunk, not completely
I think
drunk.
5 shots
Fairly
before the
drunk.
podcast
Yeah.
is a good amount.
And everyone else, I mean, people can have drinks, but one person just starting about 5 shots ahead. And then you just either, the other people on the couch don't know either because it's random, told by the producer.
A
And
little
the
bit of
people
a
in the
shot
comments, and
roulette
then
situation.
See how composed that person can stay or how hidden they can be within conversation of not knowing who's
and I
not there in the same way.
I think it'd be more, yeah, like if like the actual the subplot of the whatever it is at like
It's a
podcast
podcast
episode.
with
Yeah.
subtext, like every good script should have.
I think if you
Right.
really like made it a big bit and were like, you know, messing with each other the whole time, trying to figure out who it would be, it would come out too fast.
Yes, right.
So making it subtle and
Yes, and be
You're-
like,
you're like we don't talk about it
yeah,
Right.
until towards the end.
you talk about it once at the beginning, just so everyone knows.
Like the
when they're
producer prompts
watching.
it. They say,
Yeah.
guys, time to vote.
right, like this, like the podcast, like you should, the people on the podcast should try to make it as standard of a podcast as possible.
Yep.
yeah.
Like do all do the names, like make sure the names are like, you know,
Yep.
do the intro bit, like whatever.
Yep.
Because then
if
the
you
things
get a
that
little
are weird
paranoid,
will come
don't
out.
talk about it.
And maybe we don't even tell the audience of the podcast until the very end. I don't know if people who
It's
are
a
watching
reveal.
people who are watching this one, you know, might have this inkling in their mind. It might also fuck with them because they're like, "Is this the podcast where someone's completely drunk?" And then you go, "All right, well, this is the podcast, and one of us was
Completely.
completely
to
wasted
completion.
Like one
wasted.
more sip away from pummocks.
from pummocks."
I
What
meant
is
to say-
that?
I meant to say stomach pump, and I said pummocks,
Pummocks.
Pummocks.
and then stopped before I said stunk.
Wow. Pummocks is like the Kleenex of stomach pumps.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Pummix.
It's the
The
brand.
Pummix stunk.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all
Pummix
he's got.
stunk
That's all
was
she
the,
wrote.
was the
Pummix
extent.
stunk.
And then, yeah, I think maybe something else we want to mention. Nate saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Volume 3, and the... I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, no, I did. It was the day it was released to theaters. That was the day that I saw it.
What day was that?
The day it was really.
And you had like a really
And
controversial
you're-
take about Rocket Raccoon, like it didn't get you at all.
Sort of a
didn't get
sexual
it?
but not emotional.
Yeah, it was kind of a.
It was too
there
sexual.
I heard it was an emotional roller coaster.
It was
I
like
worked today.
I didn't really connect with
A
it. Like,
sexual helicopter.
I feel like most like the average moviegoer kind of like took it in one direction and they
And the above average moviegoer.
yeah, so like there's like there's a common sort of viewpoint of Rocket Raccoon's storyline and then where it ended up in this film.
Right.
And I just didn't really agree with that viewpoint
Couldn't
at
relate
all.
to it, yeah.
I was kind of more on like a little higher level of like understanding of the subtext.
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't seen this, but I'm assuming the story involves animal cruelty. Is that correct?
Not far off.
And are you pro or against animal cruelty?
Pretty against, yeah.
Pretty against?
Okay.
I'd say fairly,
Pretty
yeah.
fairly.
Fairly?
I think
Okay.
there are
But in this case,
times-
Rocket might have
There are
deserved
moments-
it. Is that how James
There are
Gunn portrayed it?
No, yeah.
I will say there are characters. Every movie to make a good movie, you need to have characters that are immoral.
Right. Some that are
someone
green, some that are blue, some that are made
Yes.
of wood.
And the best
some that are
characters,
raccoons.
the best
yeah.
characters have a little bit of both, right? Where
Yeah.
there's like you see them as a
Yeah.
good character. You're like wow, I can see that you're a good person, but there are things where you're like wow, like that's
Kinda
just crazy
unlikable
that
in
you
this
did
moment.
that.
Shrek, Megamind,
And that's why the Joker
Yes.
is your
Yeah.
favorite character.
Gru.
So-
Absolutely.
You might even
We're
say
we're
there's
talking about
layers.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's
I
okay.
don't want to pull it to Joker, but
That's a whole different podcast.
yeah, there.
Actually, listen to Nate's new podcast about the Joker.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy,
No.
Volume 3. It's yeah.
Yeah. How would you rank like the soundtrack, the album, compared
Yeah,
to
were
the
you
first
surprised by the
two?
music
Were you
selection?
surprised by the music selection?
No, pretty standard. I would say, especially after seeing the first two movies
Where would you rank
Yeah,
it?
it's all 2017 and newer. Songs.
within
Within the three.
the three.
Yeah.
Probably second. I'd say 1 through 2.
Just like
Ooh.
just like Kung Fu Panda. No, wait, no.
Ooh.
That was different. Kung Fu Panda
Wow.
is 2, 1, 3. Sidebar.
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
feel like
That's
you're not-
encouraging. I'm gonna have to see it.
Ultimately, great film. I think character development. It went in directions that I wasn't expecting. The body double for Chris Pratt.
yeah.
His character Star-Lord. Just amazing.
Would you say that Marvel is back?
I don't want to put all my
Well, we want to use that for the title of this podcast in all caps. So, can you say yes or no if they're back?
Would you say Marvel is back?
Yeah, one
Yes or no?
1 sec. Marvel is back.
All right, you heard it here. This is someone who's seen that movie and who's declaring that Marvel is back. So if you disagree, let him know specifically.
I'd say top 3.
And if
Marvel
you
movies.
somehow got emotional or something resonated with the Rocket
That's
storyline,
stupid. That's
then Nate also thought that was stupid.
Yeah, Nate thought that part was stupid.
Would you see it again?
No, absolutely not.
That's funny.
Yeah. What movie were we talking about again?
Sandlot 2.
Yeah. No, that one was good. Also, haven't seen that one.
The
Yeah, so I haven't seen.
The Guardians of Christmas? What was that movie?
Guardians of the Guardians. It's just called Guardians.
Gahul?
It's called,
Whoa!
it's called Guardians.
Guardians.
I'm pretty sure.
There's some.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of Tumblr attention on that movie, I think. Sort of
About Guardians?
Smutty.
Is that the
The
one
Guardians
with
movie, I think.
Jack Frost?
Yeah. And sort of a tattooed Santa.
Yeah, badass Santa.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it was
Kind
kind
of a
of like a
badass Santa.
foreshadowing. What's his face's movie? This past
David
winter.
Harbour's.
Yes. Which I didn't see. Violence. The violence in your stocking.
Violent Night. Is that what?
Ah,
Yeah.
that makes
What?
sense.
Santa's not violent.
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
Santa.
I won't hear it.
Santa.
No, who found out that Santa wasn't? Who found out that Santa wasn't real? Sorry, I was thinking maybe I'd need to preface that in case there's any Santa belief.
Kids, cover your ears.
In case there were
Kids, cover your ears.
who didn't or who didn't know Santa was
If
fake.
you're
case-
watching
is
this
there- if there's any-
podcast and you
So
didn't know
who
yet,
found out the latest? I feel like I found out pretty late.
Well, I was told pretty late.
You had to be told.
Yeah, but when did you
weren't even
know?
inquiring. At some point, your parents just said, "Hey, buddy, it's not real.
I didn't wanna
Stop
inquire.
Stop believing."
I stopped believing, and then probably 2 years later, my parents were like,
They could see it in your eyes. You know, they took the first Christmas, does he know? And then the second one, he said,
All right.
yep, he definitely has.
I'm a little bit scared to say my numbers. I want to hear the rest of your numbers. Please.
I have
Alright,
a
we'll
little.
come back to that,
I have a little
Patrick.
story that goes with this.
Okay, perfect.
So cool.
This is the perfect place for stories.
Oh, this is.
yeah,
Unless Cole has a
I
story.
don't remember the age. I just remember it being really young.
That makes
Um,
sense.
Was it a situation where it was ruined for you? You kind of found out for yourself?
I was talking to my neighbor, and we were plotting putting a camera in the tree.
Yeah. Do you think that this is going to perfectly match our relationships with religion? And the
I don't
story
know.
and
In
the
what?
Probably.
storyline of
What do
it?
you mean match? Like, the younger that we were, that we stopped believing in Santa. The younger that we were,
That we stopped believing in Jesus.
Sort
We
of,
believed in
sort
Jesus.
of.
We said, fuck this Santa stuff.
harder.
No.
Yeah,
Fuck
I don't know.
Santa, I love
First thing.
Jesus.
I
It's
now.
think-
interesting.
I mean, I
don't want to. I
was
don't
a-
want to ostracize anybody.
I was
Yeah.
a raging atheist in kindergarten.
Raging.
He was shutting down.
All right,
beliefs.
before we-
I was. So I think I wouldn't
My
honestly
mom
be
says
surprised.
Jesus loves me.
Yeah, and I
fucking
said, that's
thing, buddy."
stupid. I said, you think humans rode dinosaurs, you dummy. Yeah. No, I was from.
That's in the Bible. People thought humans rode dinosaurs.
Well, they are
I
at the
don't
same
know.
time.
Yeah, they were
It's a fundamental.
existed during
It's
the
a
time.
very fundamentalist.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
what I learned in homeschool.
I was just like super into like science and weird shit like that when I was very, very, very
Weird-
young.
Weird shit. That science.
Crazy.
Yeah, weird shit. That fancy textbook religion. Yeah, it was nuts. So I think I probably stopped believing in Santa. I don't know. Maybe I'll consult my mom on Mother's
When
Day.
you read enough science
like
to
at
believe
a
it, it just
very
wasn't
young age.
possible.
Well, because
you
it's-
derived the formulas and you said, "Wait a minute."
Like it. First of all, it's ridiculous. He comes down the chimney, and our chimney, when I look in the fireplace, is just cut off. Like
Not
it doesn't
possible.
go to the chimney.
Yeah, he's
right?
not coming
so
through
I'm
that
like,
chimney.
as a
You've
little.
never even heard of magic.
No, I was
Never
staunchly
considered
anti-magic for as long as I can remember.
That's so silly because magic is real.
Yeah,
Let's-
maybe in
Okay,
here,
science.
but not out
We
here.
can compare
the
when we
universe, that's
found out
magic.
magic was real after.
Yeah,
Let's stick
yeah,
to
that's
Santa.
next.
Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. It was probably like 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
So I think similar to your religion, like that's based on Santa not being real. When religion, how that mixes into it. Creativity. Maybe is there a correlation between
Yeah.
the longer that you believed in Santa, the more creative your brain is, and that probably
I don't
it's
think.
not
I
like
don't
a
think that
cause
there's
and
a. I
effect.
don't think there's a real statistical connection to that in nature, according to like just the research and studies that I've looked at of like kids who believe in Santa and all that type of thing, or like whether Santa is like a thing in the home being raised. that kind of thing.
How it impacts how smart
So
you
that's
are?
not what I'm saying.
Just how you behave and what your sort of relationship to the world and to your family
So
is.
I'm
Is
not
very
saying
interesting.
one causes the other. I'm saying that because someone has a creative brain, they believe in Santa longer.
Would you say creativity is linked to being dumb?
Well, I would say creativity is linked to imagination.
Yeah. So what you haven't told about your
So,
Santa story specifically?
So my Santa story is that I don't remember exactly how old I was, but it was fairly young. I would say like, I don't know, like 9, maybe 8,
Yeah.
something like that. But I specifically remember that me, Jonas, my brother, and my 2 cousins devised a plan. So we knew that every year during Christmas, a sack full of presents would arrive on my. So this is at my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Would arrive on the front steps, and we would just like there'd be a knock on the door, and then everybody would be like, "Oh my God, it was Santa!" And then we go to the door, and there's this big red sack, and it had all the presents in it.
Oh, that's kind of a
And we're
unique
like-
thing.
Yeah, and then we were like, "Oh my gosh, Santa brought the presents." And one year we were like,
Kind of a lazy Santa though. He didn't even bother to bring them inside. He was just
Yeah,
like,
no, he just set it at the door.
Leave them and just Fuck
so
off.
we were like, I think our goal wasn't to see Santa. Our goal was to debunk who was playing Santa.
Yeah.
And so we were like,
because you're like
we're gonna-
Santa's real, but someone's pretending to be him in this instance.
no,
You were past that point already.
Yeah. I was like, someone is pulling the wool over our eyes right now, and we're gonna unmask
We're gonna catch him
the culprit
red-handed. Yeah.
and bring him to justice. So, at my grandma's house, front door is here, and then the house wraps around like this, and back hallway goes to a garage, and above the garage is a play place. Like a little toy room, and it has windows that overlook the front door. So we were like, we are going to sit up here until the person who brings the sack around is, until we see them, deliver the presents. And we sat up there, and we had binoculars, and we were looking at that front door. And then we got called down for lunch. And we had to go eat lunch. And we ran back up to our post as fast as we could. And the presents were right there. And we didn't catch them. And so to this day,
You don't know if Santa's real or not?
I don't know who was. I have my guesses because
Who's pulling
I
the
can
strings,
kind of
yeah.
like
Who wasn't at
see
lunch?
Who
Who
was
wasn't at-
exactly? I could see who
Yeah.
was like
Who was present?
who left, who
Who was
whatever.
moseying,
So
yeah.
I think it was my grandpa.
So wait, you think
That
like
makes sense
family members
that it
knew
would
that
be
you guys
him.
were stalking and they're like, come in for lunch?
Wait, your grandpa is Santa?
That's pretty cool.
That's
really
about the
cool,
only
actually.
conclusion that makes sense.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep. I also don't really know exactly how young I was, but my story is fairly silly. I don't know if I've shared this with other people before.
I don't think I've heard this story.
I think I probably already had some doubts, but I'll say this is when I definitively, knew. But I was watching Home Improvement, and there was a Christmas episode, and it was about Santa, and Tim Allen didn't believe in Santa, and was talking about how Santa isn't real and this and that, and I just took that as gospel. I said, Tim Allen said Santa's not real. I finally believe it's. I've had doubts.
From Santa's mouth himself.
Oh my! I don't even know if I'd connected those dots.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't connect that
And I
either.
said, okay, like I said, I wasn't sure. Tim Allen says it's not real. That must be true now if it's confirmed. And then so I
Yeah.
went upstairs. My mom was in bed or something. I said, so Santa's not real? And then she told me, she was like, yep, no, Santa's not real. I want to say I was probably maybe 9, 10. And then I went back downstairs after finding out that Santa was indeed not real. And then, funnily enough, that episode ends with Santa actually being real. And it's like, Tim Allen,
That's
was this
funny.
pessimist who's like, Santa's not real. And the episode ends and Santa's flying away in the sky or something. And he's like, oh, shit. Someone is randomly putting presents underneath my tree. That's not me, and I didn't
Wait,
know
so
that.
you went back to being a believer
No,
after
I
your
didn't.
mom? Oh.
I didn't. I was like, oh, well,
It was too late for that.
I ruined it for myself, and Tim Allen's a
That's
sham.
so funny. So
Tim Allen's a liar.
You took his word for gospel,
Yeah.
and then even when you saw
then
physical evidence.
Well, the only person who trumped Tim Allen in terms of credibility was my mom at that
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes
So
sense.
once she confirmed it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So wow, interesting. So you could have gone if you just stayed there.
yeah, I probably would have went on believing a little bit longer.
15, 19,
I might still believe.
22.
Wow.
Yeah. I never had that moment, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, you said embarrassing old, and you wanted to hear these other stories.
Yeah,
so what are you
11.
coming back with?
Yeah.
11 is when my mom was like, hey, just so you know. And she assumed that I didn't believe in Santa.
She assumed you already
Like,
knew.
just to make sure you know that Santa's not
And you
a
That's
thing.
middle school, right?
And I was bummed because I by that point become aware that I was
One of the few believers left.
Everyone looked at you funny.
I didn't talk
persecuted.
about it. I was just participating with my family, with my little sisters and my little cousins. And I had it was time for me to go from being one of the kids that it was fun for to an older kid. And I was the first one to do that, to kind of cross that
Yeah.
bridge to be like, you're in on it now. You know?
I had a hard time being in on it.
I bet you fucking did.
Weight on your shoulders.
I had a hard time with it.
Yeah, because, and I don't know, I kind of do too, because you're taught whatever, you believe it at face value, you're a little kid, and then I knew that Santa wasn't real, but I didn't think about it, and it was whatever, and then, no, Santa's not real.
It's time to face the music.
Yeah.
It's time to face the music, whatever, magic is done, and, yeah, religion, man. That's
Yeah.
basically it.
No, it was.
That's really hard for me to actually contextualize and think about,
That it's a
because
religious
I had it was quasi
Yeah.
and mirrors my
Good one, Nate.
my own deconstruction of
Yeah.
Christianity that went in late
Waves.
high school, college, and in
Yeah.
waves, and
It was.
it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It
The
was,
way that I wanted to hold on to Santa.
Yeah.
I wanted to be on one side of the joke, even though just because I was scared
Yeah.
of the other side.
I wanted to be in on it too. It was interesting. So in our neighborhood, we had all these different families with kids that are all very similar ages. They're all kind of my sister and brother's age. And then you had me, who is 3 years older than my sister, and then our next door neighbor to the back, and she was 1 year older than me. And we were plotting because I was like, okay, well, I'm very skeptical of the Santa character. I want to conduct an experiment, as you do.
As you do
As a
with
scientist
science.
kid,
As
yeah.
a science
Right.
kid,
Yeah.
to determine whether or not this is possible. Magic seems sus. You're walking along as this
Right.
little tyke. All right, so we're plotting. We got to put the camera in the tree. That's the only reasonable option. So then I think I was asking my parents for a camera or something, and I didn't put together that them being in on my experiment would ruin everything, because they were probably the culprits. I wasn't that smart. I just knew that I wanted to do it.
Funny that you were young enough to not understand what the alternative
What the alternative was, but I was skeptical and inquisitive enough to try and debunk it.
Haven't
Yeah.
you guys been skeptical about this Santa character too?
Literally.
Why are you guys not talking about
I think
I bet it's the
right at a very young
fucking
age.
mailman.
I always thought that was the funniest part about
Who's
Christmas movies
breaking
and other
into my
things where
house?
Santa is real, but an elf where the parents are skeptical and there's no Christmas cheer, and it's
Yeah.
but literally presents that the parents did not buy, that have no idea where it came from.
Where are they
Have
coming?
been coming into the house for their entire
That would
life.
See, the thing is,
That'd be
my sister and
terrifying.
I
and it's a
have had.
phenomenon everyone on Earth has had.
No, my
It's
sister
nice.
and I have had long conversations about this. The parents thought they bought that, but they didn't.
Just mass
That's
hysteria.
why.
There's an offhanded comment in
Don't
the
catch
Santa
the
Claus
receipts.
that alludes to the
Oh, yeah,
fact
'cause
that
Santa Claus is the same thing.
the parents believe that they did it when
Through
they did
like mind control, sort of.
Shit,
through-
that's my wrapping too. I
No,
remember buying that wrapping
through
paper.
through pure
Magic.
the way that
How
we
does the pole
describe
work?
the way that we talk
Work
about
stress.
the way that we talk about the way that we describe it. Are you familiar with Percy Jackson? The
Yeah.
fog of Percy Jackson.
Fog of Percy Jackson. Of
It's the
course.
same thing. If you see something that could only be explained by magic, and you're not magic, your brain writes
Yeah.
it away.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It
Right.
explains it. It recontextualizes, and it makes it. Oh, that's not a satyr. That's not a harpy.
I forgot that
That's
that was a
a
thing.
teacher.
That's not a sword. That's a pen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite
So-
like, little
I had
things
no
about
money for that RC helicopter, but I guess I did.
I guess I did. Yes. How do you check the credit card?
But Santa is very careful to give children gifts according to their financial class of their parents and their family.
Interesting.
Just so everything stays in equilibrium. Right?
right. We couldn't equal the playing field.
Yeah.
Yep. Bobby
Gotta
gets
keep
an Apple
things
Watch,
as they
and
are.
I get
Pick up sticks.
pick up sticks.
AJ gets
So with
Lincoln
that
Logs.
for Easter.
with that reasoning, did you Santa, did you have any sort of like, maybe he's like a little bit, not a great guy if he's keeping the poor and keeping the rich
And
rich?
passing judgment on everyone.
and
Yeah.
breaking into my house.
Or was it more of like a just
It's the same thing. If he has such power, what the fuck is he doing this shit for?
Literally.
You know? Why is this his thing?
Home invasion's the best way to save the world? Are
Yeah.
you serious? Come on. Yeah,
True.
I know.
You know, he needs a different system. Not naughty and nice. It's the more deserving and the less deserving.
yeah, there you go.
Am I right though? Am I right though?
It's like,
Yeah.
imagine.
There's a lot of people he doesn't need to visit.
Yeah,
it's like
there's a lot of
equity,
there's a
but
lot of
backwards.
people
Yeah.
who have a right to be mean, to be naughty, rather.
True.
That wasn't even
When
what
you're
I
a
was getting
child,
into, but
yeah.
that too. That's a whole other component.
It's a whole nother component. Think of the children.
I see funny videos about the Santa Claus trilogy and stuff that would talk about, the Santa thing as, just this like demon curse or whatever, the way it just takes over and steals your life
Your
or whatever,
whole
like it does
life,
for
yeah.
Tim Allen or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I was
I haven't
lost.
seen
I
those
thought you were talking
movies
about
in a
real life.
What?
I haven't seen these movies in a long time.
I don't know if I've ever seen them.
Oh my god.
That tracks. I don't know. It's the most complete compendium of Santa lore that you'll find in a cinematic universe.
I was too busy watching Neil
Three
deGrasse
movies
Tyson.
chocked full
yeah,
of
he only
lore.
watches
They get
science.
into it. They talk
If it's
about
not on the
it.
Discovery Channel, it wasn't for me.
So do you know how the universe works though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Santa.
What?
So you're only interested in the real universe. You don't like stories.
I'm a different person than myself at 6 years old.
I'm asking you, how does Santa work in the Santa Claus universe? Tell me right now.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you. So if you catch Santa and
It's May.
cause him to
I've been thinking that Christmas time. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about?
that makes it funnier. So if you catch Santa, and I think if you make him die, or maybe if you just catch him, but he also happened to die because he fell off a roof, then he doesn't exist anymore. What? And then he leaves behind his clothes. And then if you put on his clothes, you become Santa.
It's like the Flash. You got to carry the mantle.
Yeah, and then all the other things in terms of being overweight or growing a beard
It
or
just
looking
happens.
older, it just happens to you.
It just happens
Tim
to
Allen
you.
tries to fight it, and then like within you, like drives you away from whatever you were doing
Yeah.
in life.
Sort of an Evan
And it says
Almighty.
it
thing.
tells you are
Right.
now headed to the North Pole, and this is now what you do until someone either on purpose
Kills
or
you?
accidentally kills you, and the curse is passed on to them.
So
It's so
all right. So I don't.
Your whole life is
And you
over.
and also in the second movie, it gets even darker, where you like are required to have a Mrs. Claus.
You're
So you-
you're required to spawn.
So you have
more.
you have to reach back into the real world where people live and like
Pull
pluck
someone
another
in?
person out because there has
and
to
pull it
be a
into the
Mrs.
dark
Claus.
world to like forge some
She's
kind
not
of
happy.
What
She
happens-
doesn't see her
bonds.
family
What
anymore.
happens
Her
to
career's
Mrs.
over.
Claus when Santa dies and there's a new Santa and a new Mrs. Claus?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question. What happened to the old Mrs. Claus? Not addressed.
She might have also just disappeared from existence.
Yeah.
Because her only existence was to be Mrs. Claus.
That's so bad.
So no, that's how that trilogy works.
Wow, that's cool. So at the end of this trilogy, does Tim Allen die?
No one gets him. No, I don't think it ends with anyone getting him.
Damn.
Nope.
I don't know. He might be immortal until
I plan to get him.
Yeah.
And then
Like the actor Tim Allen?
because I've been postulating how to break the curse,
How to become Santa?
how to kill Santa once and for all.
Permanently?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like that episode of Legend of Korra. Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
I
Have you
feel
seen
like
that?
Yeah.
Where they try and permanently delete the avatar? If you like kill
Oh,
them while they're in the avatar
yes.
state, it's over.
Yep.
Wraps.
Mhm.
Done
True.
so.
Yeah.
Break the cycle.
There's probably some sort of way for there to be no Santa.
You gotta kill them while he's in
There
Santa
should
state.
come in a fourth movie where it's like, how do we end this Santa curse?
Right, and then he has to
They made a
sacrifice
dumbass
himself.
show, retconned a bunch of lore.
Really?
There's a The
Yeah.
Santa Claus show.
Yep, the Santa Clauses. It's dumb.
Retconning lore is like one of the greatest sins you can commit on this earth.
Oh, if you're me, certainly.
If you're a lore consultant,
I'm a lord
Yeah.
librarian.
that's a position that me and Patrick have talked about that we hope exists and that's something
Yeah.
we want. You know, for
Like a-
I think we're both
League of
more than
Legends
capable.
lore, Apex lore. You feel like they've built so much stuff
Just
up.
a
They need
lore
someone to keep
consultant.
track of it all
Right.
and
It's-
consult with. And all right, we're gonna add this new character. We're gonna add this new storyline. Does it fit with what we currently have lore wise?
I want it to be my job to know about.
Cool shit.
Yeah.
So here's my proposal. Mm-hmm. Let me bring it back a little bit.
National treasure.
Friend group lore. We write a book, and then before we do anything else,
We have to make sure
see
it's
that.
lore
have to
lore compliant.
consult
Lore
the
compliant.
lore book, the
That'd
book
be a
of
good
lore,
skit.
the friend book of lore, and make sure that
That's
it
actually a very good skit.
follows
Yeah.
the arc.
Like we have this. book
Like
that we have
if
to
somebody
consult
does
every
something
time.
that's out of character,
they're
no.
done.
Say actually no. No, Eric, you're supposed to be the funny one. Why are you getting
Why are you
Emotions.
making me feel right now?
like there's like the first half is just like somebody does something and people are like, no, it doesn't work, and like the audience is just like, what do you mean what doesn't work?
What do you mean it
and
doesn't
then
work?
like it's not till the end where they're like,
Book on the
bang,
table.
boom, open it
Yeah.
up, bang, byline 73, read it, doesn't work.
On a related note, sort of, the Snap AI, I was asking it, I was like, tell me League of Legends lore. And then it gave me like 6 paragraphs of League of Legends lore.
And then you hit him with the
And-
tell me more.
Yeah, no, I didn't hit him with that. And then I said, what was the bite of 87? And then it gave me a whole rundown of what the bite of 87
Wait,
was.
what
from
is the
Fnatic.
bite?
You don't know what the bite of 87
Five
from-
Nights at fucking Freddy's?
Sorry,
Okay, so
I don't know shit
put
about Friday Nights
Put
at
the line
Freddy's.
and edit the people that know everything and the people that know nothing.
Wow, so I'm just in a league of my own of not knowing nothing.
Have you-
If there's a level
Have you
system here,
consumed Five Nights at Freddy's content?
I think I've watched one episode of like the yeah.
It's a game.
Well, of like
Well, I've never played it
playthrough.
really. I've only
You just-
consumed it on
you-
YouTube.
yeah.
And MatPat and Markiplier.
Yep.
I
Markiplier.
don't know what I did.
Oh my god.
That's not science.
It
Yeah,
is,
and that's
though.
not
It's
what I
zeros
do.
and ones,
That's
baby.
not what I do in my free time.
Oh my gosh.
The bite of 87, to put simply, it'd be funny if I could pull up on Snapchat what it told me. Ask your Snap AI what the bite. Right now, Cole, we can continue talking, but pull up Snap AI, ask it what the bite of 87 was. All right, so he's doing that, and then Nate, what's our side
And then we can
conversation?
end the podcast.
Oh, are we
This
running
is-
out of time?
Yeah, this
Is it bite
this
like
so-
BYTE?
So Eric, the amount of shit talk that has happened for this to like culminate to the end of the podcast, we're gonna see if it actually warranted all the shit talk because it's gonna conclude the podcast.
If the bite
So-
of 87
If the
is,
bite
is-
of 87
epic
is worth closing the podcast
my
on.
AI, I asked, what is the bite of 87? And she says, I'm not sure. What is it?
It's a game for children, baby kids.
And I hope not. You're not a kid.
We can cut all this in post.
Hope
All right, join us
You're
on
not a
episode
kid.
32 next week
Here, wait,
for more
wait.
Christmas talk.
Follow us on everything,
Nate's got something to say.
especially TikTok, 'cause I make those.